What's going on, good people? Kieron here.
It's your girl Ray P. Welcome back to the Culture Garden podcast. What's going on, Rich?
Not too much, not too much. How you feeling, Ray?
I'm tired, but I'm here. I'm present. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Told y'all, listen, told y'all we got y'all over there cooking. That's why Rachel took the week off last week. Me and School covered Little Man. Shout out to School, that goofy ass episode. Maurice hit me up and said, man, I love when y'all do these stupid movies because you just kind of go on your own little tangents, and that's exactly what happened. Can't believe that we spent 52 minutes or however long it was talking about Little Man, but we made it happen. Glad to have you back, of course, Rachel, because guess what? We're kicking off. First and foremost, before I even say that, Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month, because we black, y'all. We black, y'all.
And go check out our CB4 episode.
Yes.
Not to mention, every month's Black History Month, as y'all know. Just go a little bit harder in February. Second, third annual Romance Month here at the Culture Garden Podcast. Something that we stumbled into, wasn't planned. Then it ended up turning into something that Rachel and myself enjoy. This is one of my favorite months of the year when it comes to discussing films, because we always have some good conversations around these romantic films. And I'm looking forward to kind of kicking it off again. Rachel, this is episode 109.
Crazy.
Insane when you really think about it. I do want to take a little bit of time to reach out to some of the comments. We've gotten some YouTube comments and things like that, so I want to shout some people out. Carmen Moore, 3324. I don't know if I shouted this one out before. This is a couple weeks ago on Pride. Carmen Moore said, I really enjoyed the podcast and I'm adding it to my collection. We appreciate you for that. Anytime we get a new blind listener who are officially a part of the Culture Garden family, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Mia, shout out to Mia.
Yeah.
She made a couple comments. One on the 5 Heartbeats episode. Ray P, ma'am, you be cooking. I love this. I love this so much.
Thank
you. Mia had reached out and said she has to get on an episode with you talking about romance.
Okay.
So I thought we'll make that happen. 2.0 sounds like maybe it could be in the future.
Okay.
Have Mia join us again. Obviously, she's a Culture Garden family, been on the show a few times.
Yeah.
Check out Childish Grown Ups, our podcast that she does with Mo and Ash. Also got a comment from Mia on the Black Reel Awards episode. She said, this is amazing in all caps. My goodness. Agreed, Mia. I think if you're a film lover and you just love the nuances of film, that was a very fun episode, not only to be a part of, but also I haven't listened back on it yet. I am going to, so I can clip it up because I want to promote it as we get closer to the actual awards and things like that. But it felt good in the moment. So I felt like that's how it went. And then lastly, it might be Giles. Deshauna Giles or Giles. My apologies. 4258 on YouTube commented on the 5 Heartbeats episode. I absolutely love this movie. One of my childhood favorites. It's good to see you three together. Y'all are like childhood friends in my head.
Aw.
Definitely appreciate that.
You.
We really want to make sure we're authentic and keep that chemistry alive. So once again, shout out to everybody in the Culture Garden family for showing love.
For sure.
109 episodes into this thing. Before we get started, please remember to like, subscribe, share. Be like the YouTube commenters and leave us comments. Let us know what you think of the episodes. Give us your thoughts on the movies themselves. We will add you a part of this conversation and extend that talk as well. Please follow us on Instagram at the Culture Garden Podcast. Check out our link tree for everything else that we do. There will be spoilers and explicit content. Today's film that we're kicking off Romance Month 2025 with is She Taught Love. Real quick before we get started, She Taught Love is based in Los Angeles, California. Rachel and myself, as well as School, want to continue to give our love, support, prayers, not the internet versions, but the real prayers and everything to everybody impacted and affected by the wildfires. I know, a lot of the fires have been contained, but we are talking about months, if not years, of people recovering because they literally lost everything. We won't get into the ins and outs of insurance and all that stuff that's going on out there. But it is a long road ahead, and the only way you really rebuild is with community. So we're a part of y'all community, man. If you ever need anything we can offer, we definitely want to, have everybody in our thoughts and prayers for that. But Rachel, synopsis of this film: a guy, Frank, on a self-destructive path. A girl, Molly with an expiration date. What a perfect time to meet and fall in love. This is my week. Rachel picked two movies. I picked two movies. I think for the first time in Culture Guard history, we kind of know what the month looks like.
Yeah.
We normally just take them week. So this is the first of my two choices. Why did I pick this film? So I guess it ties in a little bit with first experiences. I saw it November, maybe
Mm-hmm.
early November, somewhere around then. And I told Rachel, I said, hey, I think I know what movie I'm going to go ahead and choose for. One of the movies I'm going to choose for Romance Month. It was something that I was pleasantly surprised by. It was something I hadn't heard of. It was suggested to me. And I saw the trailer and I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it. When I actually found some time on the weekend to actually watch it. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the storytelling. I love the cinematography. I loved a lot of the things about it. The authenticity, as we always mention, just some of the conversations that were being had sounded like conversation I have had or will have, or the way I speak. I felt like it was coming out of characters. So it was very unique in that sense. I really enjoyed the character of Molly. And I just thought it was going to be something interesting to discuss because it's not, I'm not going to say I haven't seen a movie like this, but I do think there are a lot of great talking points and moments. And once again, we always talk about just kind of being dropped in this world and navigating and observing. And it felt that way. And I'm very interested in your thoughts because I don't think you shared the same excitement. And I can't wait because those are some of my favorite conversations. But before we get there, because we'll be able to jump right in there, there's not a lot of information as far as origin and stuff. I do want to read some stats and awards and give the cast some credit before we get into a larger conversation. It was released on Hulu September 27th of 2024. So it had limited release in the theaters, but mainly it was on Hulu and still is. Directed by Nate Edwards, written by Daryl Brake Gibson, who's actually stars as Frank. No budget or theater information, as I said earlier, and is currently streaming on Hulu. For awards, it is currently nominated for an NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Cinematography in a Motion Picture, and it won an African American Film Critics Association Award for Best Independent Film. Cast, as I mentioned, Daryl Brake Gibson as Frank Cooper, Arsema Thomas as Molly Waters, Thaisa Formiga as Samantha Myron, Molly's best friend or co-worker. Darcy Carden is Laura Neal, that is Frank's agent, or is that her agent? Yeah, agent manager, one of them. Teresa Gary is Brenda Waters. Edwin Lee Gibson is Kevin Waters. Shout out to the Bear. You might know him from that show. We also have Kevin Carroll as Barry Randall, who played the studio exec that was trying to get Frank on, and Alexander Hodge as Justin Chan. A lot of you know him as Andrew from Insecure. Rachel, I think I know the answer to both of these questions because I'm going to agree with you on them. First one, movie poster Hall of Fame?
No.
Classic or not?
No.
All right, no. It's no for me on both of them. Hard to be a classic when you only release 3 months. I'm weak that you getting weak as I'm reading these. Because I'm reading and I keep glancing up and I just see you like just trying to keep it in. Like you're really laughing. I can't wait to get this going. First experiences, Rachel. Like I said, there's not really much to the origin of this film. There was a different actor who was going to play Molly, Kirby, I think. I'm not 100% sure the pronouns, but I know they go by Kirby. I forget the full name. But she was going. I messed it up. Either way, we're gonna play Molly, but that didn't happen. That's the only real thing about this film. Like, other than Daryl, this is the first thing that he wrote. So I want to know, Rachel, when did you actually watch this film? Was it for prep of this? Was it after I told you to check it out? And what was your overall first experience?
Okay. So Kieron is laughing at me because prior to us jumping on to record, we got y'all. I said I might need a little bit more time with this for She Taught Love because I have watched this movie no less than 5, no more than about 8 times. And I got nothing.
You got nothing. What?
I got nothing. So the first question, I actually watched this or tried to watch it when you suggested it. You said, I got a movie. I'll talk to you about it later. I'm like, okay. So
yeah.
I think the first time I tried to watch it was actually when I was off for Christmas in December. I said, wow, this sucks.
Oh, oh,
but
oh.
but maybe I'm distracted. I got a lot going on. So maybe I'm not in the mood. And we've talked ad nauseum about being in the mood for movies.
Absolutely, 100%. It's a real thing.
So I went back while I was in much better spirits, much better energy, and came away. I looked up one time and 40 minutes had gone by, and I can't tell you a single thing that had happened. I'm like, nah, scratch that. Start it over. Start it over. Started it over. The whole movie had gone by, and I said, wow. Okay. I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna try this again tomorrow.
Whoa.
Huh. She taught love. Okay, I'm gonna try. I'm 30 minutes in. I'm gonna I'm gonna come back to this. I got my title page. Intro. Haven't written anything down. Aw.
What? Where was the disconnect? What was it? Because
I
I
don't.
wanted, I went into it. All right, so let me, before you answer that, it's funny that we have these reactions because I was on the side of why aren't more people talking about this? And it feels like some of the stuff that I've been seeing, you either on that side or you're on the side that you're on. Because when we get to the end of the episode and we talk about the rating, I was shocked at the rating to the point where, and I wasn't the only one, to the point where people who saw the rating, like I read one comment from a user or a watcher or viewer, and they said, I'm not even the type of person that leaves reviews, but I felt compelled when I saw the rating of this movie. Like I felt that I had to come in here and shine some light on this film. Like, so the rating is bad, but the comments and the critical acclaim is up. And it feels like there's no middle ground. People either really love this movie or they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what just happened? I don't need this. Like, why are y'all talking about this? And those type of movies are fascinating. There is no middle ground.
I could see that. I will probably never revisit this.
What do you think it was?
I don't know. I'm not gonna put it in the vein of Last Black Man in Philadelphia. It's not that to me.
Nah,
it's not that at all. But something about it just never curled all the way over. It was hard. It did not keep my attention at all, even when I forced myself. Phone down. I'm not even gonna try to take notes. I'm not gonna find my way to Twitter or Blue Sky, Instagram, nothing. I'm going to sit down and watch this movie. And I just
couldn't do it.
I could not do it. It just was not keeping my attention. We talk about, I'm a lover girl. We know. I love a good love story. I know about a troubled ass nigga. Relatable. I have dealt with the spoiler, the effects that cancer and being a caretaker has on life and relationships and this, that, and the third. But something about it just is not good to me. It's not. It doesn't grab you in the way in which you think it should.
Okay, that's interesting. So before we started recording, I told you I saw, as Rachel and myself in school are preparing for the Black Reel Awards and the announcement of the winners, we're watching our movies and doing our prep for that. And I went to the theaters this week to go see Hard Truths. And when I was talking about the movie, it's a lot. If you've seen it, you kind of know what I'm talking about. It's definitely something I'm going to see again. You have to watch it more than once, not because it's super complex, because there's a lot of things going on, a lot of layers. It's kind of dark humor and it's funny. Acting is incredible, based in London. But the one takeaway I had is it made me feel something, right?
Okay.
Regardless of what it is, it made you feel something. There was a character in there that I shouldn't have any vested interest, but at the end of it, I was like, oh, I care about this moment that's happening right now. I'm actually emotional and happy for this character, right? I'm glad to see this guy that's kind of like getting his own, figuring something out. And the other weight of these characters, it kind of happens out of nowhere. You don't know it hits you. And it's similar, if you watch the film, as far as the style of storytelling is similar to that. You're kind of just dropped in this world.
Okay.
You don't have any background of these characters. You just kind of, you get your first scene and like, okay, then I know who you are. And it just kind of goes and goes, and you're really trying to figure out where the end point is. I feel like this film is like that too, but I don't know if it was the romance part of it. I don't know if it's the seeing the genesis of a relationship and how it all came about. I was in, and I think the fact that he's an actor. Now, could there be some Wire bias here? 100%, 100%. Daryl played O Dog in The Wire. Anytime I have an actor from The Wire, I'm usually invested, maybe a little bit more than average, but it did catch me on, or I was caught on from the time of the party, trying to see how they were going to connect. Him being rejected at the grocery store. How is this going to come back full circle? Okay, now I see it. I really like Molly and her character. I love the fact that she ain't take no shit. I love the fact
like
that she's
Molly.
very matter of fact. But it's just the movie for you as a whole just didn't connect.
Yeah, a crackhead ass nigga cheating on me with cancer is not like sweet.
It's not sweet. It's not sweet. It's not sweet. But it is open and vulnerable. And there's some moments. Oh, now you got me thinking. We'll talk about it as we get in the scenes, or I get into the scenes, and you comment, have some commentary. Because there are some certain moments that I think that are just very fascinating. And we just had this conversation on Another Week in the Books about being the millennials being the new adults.
Yeah.
Seeing this generation, our generation, navigate love and what that looks like. I don't know. Some part of it is fascinating to me. And I think that aspect, maybe it's not as much if she's not sick. If Molly's not sick, then and this is just a regular story about two people, and then yeah, maybe some of that goes away. But knowing the decision that you both make consciously to build something, fall in love, knowing that one person might have an expiration date and be out of here, that's also another point that I just found compelling.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We'll talk. Let's get into these scenes.
Okay.
Let's get into these scenes. Also, side note, I have a new category for us. Not today. Okay. When we start doing films with predominantly white cast, I got a new category for those films. I'm gonna tell you what it is later. It just came to my mind though, because it's in my notes.
DEI.
All right. Right. In our favor, though. It's going to be in our favor. Trust me. Best scenes or moments. So I'm just going to go ahead and read these off, and you can have the commentary in them because I know you don't have them. She said, "But all these, please do." So surprise, opening scene. All right. And you can let me know, it's E2 at the end of these, if you actually like these scenes or not.
Okay.
So we meet Frank. We know he's auditioning for a role. We also see that he's treating his nose in the car. Kind of get a good idea of what kind of person he is. Like I say, he's an actor. He gets a phone call from Laura. You know he's trying to shoot and land for these roles. It's funny because we just had a conversation on We Got Y'all where we're discussing Harlem of being an artist and not wanting to play the stereotypical roles, but you kind of need to take them in order to launch your career, to put yourself in position to where I can start saying no to these things, to start saying yes to the stuff that I want to do. Frank doesn't want to be boxed in. I also thought it was a real moment. I think we've all experienced being in the car, music blasting, and somebody calls you, and the first thing you say, "Hey man, you fucking up the music."
For sure.
Like no hello, no nothing. Like bruh, like what you want? Because I'm really in here jamming. And then we transition to Molly, and we know she's in the. We see Frank holler at her in the grocery store. Don't pay him no mind. We transition to her life. We see that she's a sports agent. We see that contract situation that she handled with her athlete because stop playing with me. I know what I'm doing. That's very well known. Also, if you follow sports and sports contracts, Florida and Texas have a large advantage, or teams in those states have large advantages because they have no state income tax. So it kind of worked out. But that scene was solely put just to let you know Molly is not some quote unquote standard woman in a male dominated field. She knows what she's doing. She's legit. Yeah. She's driven. She's on top of things. And well, leaving the family in Thailand is crazy. But that's the opening scene. I just like seeing who we're dealing with, not
Yeah.
necessarily where we're headed, but who we're dealing with. So I had that scene down, and then we get into our first real conversation with Frank and Molly. And this is probably the part of the movie where it starts picking up for me.
Mhm.
I think you were probably already phased out by now. I'm not saying everything to this point was great,
Yeah.
but it kept my interest until we got here.
Mhm.
Because once again, I don't know what Molly's thinking. You can tell that Frank is. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Is Frank charming?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe that is a part of my lack of interest in this.
So, all right. Let's talk about this because I didn't believe that this would have worked. I didn't think. I always, every time I watch this film, I want to know what happened to Molly because they have a brief conversation of, I wish you had better game.
Mhm.
As my
Yes.
mom, you want to call her back? No, you can call her and tell her that you tried, but you failed, like you missed. She goes to leave, and then she turns around and invites him. And I
Mhm.
wonder what it was that clicked in her head. Like, let me just go ahead. Because she doesn't strike me as a person that has any issue going to a party by herself.
I think it's just the intrigue of it all because the story or that intro lets us know that he's tried her multiple times but never pulled the trigger. Like clearly we both must live close. We frequent this grocery store. So after so many times, even though your game is kind of weak, like let me just see, only because I think it's that era of familiarity, although it minimal. You know what I'm saying? I kind of know you. I know that you own me a little bit. Let me just see. And I have cancer. So let me get all the experiences I can out the way
Mm,
while I
yeah.
can.
Yeah. Uh, that was the one hang up for me. I'm like, damn, all right. Because she doesn't. And like I said, I like Molly and I like her.
Mhm.
She got some, she's a little feisty.
Yeah, I love
Um,
Molly and
you
love
want to
the name
go,
Molly. It may a lie, baby. Love it.
yeah, not Molly. What are you doing tomorrow? What did I stutter? Like just straight up, like very straight to the point, very
Mhm.
direct. You want to go to a party with me tomorrow? What party? Nigga, doesn't matter. Once again, I think a lot of it too. Let me say this right now, Rachel. Um, the screenplay itself, the dialogue in the film, I think I enjoy that as someone who enjoy English is my favorite subject,
Mhm.
enjoys writing, stuff like that. That's something that you can't fake. You have to live that nigga doesn't matter. Like that's something I can hear myself hearing from a
Yeah.
woman after asking her some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Put your number to the phone and the whole like I want me to pick you up. No, we talked about this before. Nah, I'm gonna meet you there. I don't
You
know
don't
who
need to
you
know
are.
where I live. Exactly.
Yeah. Um, and then he even mentioned like you gotta stop being, I'm turned on when you talk to me like that. You want me to leave you alone, you might want to start being nice. And like you said, that intrigue goes into it. And then we get Frank and Molly at the actual party. Once
Mhm.
again, still a slow build, still a slow burn. But I think there's a moment when you meet someone, and Rachel, I'm sure you can attest to this. Guy asks you out, or even he been on you for a minute, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. No.
And, and you finally give someone the time of day,
Ugh, yeah.
and that's your moment to chill, relax. And that's your moment to really realize, all right, this is going to be something that happens again, or this is 100% a one and done. I read this right the first time. There's a reason I ain't get this nigga my number. This is all it is. Like I'm about to get in this Uber after this, and he will never hear from me again or see me again unless we bump into each other at the grocery store. Might even find another grocery store.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this nigga again. Um, I think that's the moment of truth in all kind of movies like this, and just see how that goes. A, can you be around my friend and my crowd? And B, do you have anything else to say?
Mhm.
And I do think, let me ask you this. Do you think Frank was funny? In a dry sense of humor type of way? Sarcasm? Condescending in a sense?
Um ye- no.
No. No, I'm about to say, if it's taking you this long, Rachel, then no.
No. Um I mostly didn't like Frank. Um for
The
Molly.
character?
in general, period. Um, I
It's definitely it's definitely walk by them in the mall, like how he get her
very
situation.
much that,
Because
very much
sometimes, and
that.
it's not that's not always aesthetics, right? There are definitely characteristics and certain charisma and moxie that people can have where you can say, all right, I get it. I get why that fits. And then there's moments where Frank doesn't really have that. He doesn't have that.
Swag, charm. Some Frank is lame to me.
I'll say I wouldn't go that far to say he's lame, but I will say like Justin had more umph to him than Frank. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That would have kind of made a little bit more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Frank seems like Frank seems like the best friend and not the main character.
And not the main character. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Matter of fact, now that we're talking about this,
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of what it was. Does Frank have redeeming qualities at this point? I know
He
we get the traditional black woman saves this man's story, like she changed my life. I get that, but at this
yeah.
point of the film, I don't think there's anything that really. I don't know if I'm really believe her asking him to go back to her place and look at one of the comics. Not to say
Because
that she didn't like him or was feeling him, but maybe it's like you said. I'm trying to live it up because I have an expiration date.
very much that to me. And even while she was explaining the history of the comics and this, that, and the third, he was engaged. So she may have asked him, but just again, it might have been a while. I need a little
Yeah,
fun.
shit.
I might want somebody to touch my body, oopsie, show me some things. But that's it. That's it,
You think
unfortunately.
she? Let me finish the scene, and I'm gonna ask you that question because I was. Well, let me ask you right now. Do you think she ever had the intention of dating him long term? Because we
No,
go straight from this scene into the little dating montage.
no.
But on that rooftop, as I mentioned earlier, you get to talk about real things or see if there's a real conversation and not the small talk. And then
Mhm.
they get into the sci-fi and the space of it all, and what did you want to be when you grew up? And Astronova, very intimate details. Got the drunk white dude come up, recognizes Frank from one of his TV shows, and then mentions something about Molly being sick.
Mhm.
And then that's when we get the reveal that Molly is sick. She does have cancer. Um, they talked about what it was like. Frank's dad passed from cancer, and they kind of have
Mhm.
those shared interests. Um, Very light trauma bond, I guess, in a
Yeah.
sense. And that's
Yeah.
kind of how they really start connecting. Who says no to tacos? Nobody. Let's go fuck up some tacos. They
Mhm.
get down there, have a kiss, and then it leads to them going back to the crib. So I do buy what you say. I think it was more of a here we are on a weekend night. He's not crazy, and I think that might be unfortunately that's the bar. He's not super weird.
He's not crazy or super weird. And he didn't immediately run for the hills upon finding out that I am sickly, that I am terminally ill.
Yeah, and that's once again to make another parallel with the show we're talking about on We Got Y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Moments of your life when you expect everybody to go away. So Camille on Harlem is pregnant and she's
Yeah.
getting interest. She's 8 months pregnant, not
Mm-hmm.
12 weeks. She's 8 months pregnant. She's getting interest from someone. Full belly sticking out, about to deliver within the next 30 days or so, ankle swollen, that type of pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Molly here, terminally ill, don't know what's going on. Everything's left up in the air, and both of them are choosing in those situations. In each situation, Harlem and She Taught Love. So let's go ahead and just go forward with it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Even though I know I'm 90% sure how this is going to end, 100% sure in the Harlem situation, she's going to have that baby.
Right.
But let's just see if we can go ahead and go with it. And that leads to that dating montage, which I thought was really dope just
Mm-hmm.
because, once again, the cinematography. They played with the aspect ratios in this film. If you look, they did it intentionally just because he wanted to show what Frank's point of view, Molly's point of view, and then kind of them together, and maybe Frank before Molly, and just showing that transformation. But they're taking walks, they having dinner,
Yeah.
they having
Very
dinner with
really love.
friends. Very really love. Like
Mhm.
dinner with absolutely great call,
Yeah.
Rachel. Dinner with a close friend, like that's always important. As we all know, like it's one thing to like someone, to be feeling a woman, or for uh her to meet your friends, or in this situation for, yeah, I guess it would be for her to meet Justin, like one of my best friends, not just a casual friend. This is like my brother, and I think that's an incredible relationship that Justin and Frank have, because that's a true, genuine friendship as we see
Mhm.
throughout. But them laughing, them smiling, it feels cool. It doesn't feel like any pressure. It feels like they're naturally just letting things flow
Yeah.
and not putting too much on it, which I'm sure that's where Molly is in life right now because of her condition, or because of her illness. And they're together but separate. They're at the park. She's reading a book. He's just chilling. Like, you know how happy you got to be in a relationship to just go to a park and lay down while your girl read. Like, we all want that. That's the shit. That's the goal, right? That's what we
I
all just
love
want to kind of
that.
be. Yes, that's what I'm saying. We all want to just be, no matter what I'm doing, even
Mhm.
if we're not doing it together. I want it, like I said, together uh but separate.
For
Like, I
sure.
want that feeling just to have you around, like that need, that just you're there. That makes me feel comfortable. They're
Yeah,
really going to that place of where they're in love. Go ahead, Rachel.
for sure. And to all of that, it's not just about conversation and things going on around a relationship. Like that piece, that presence of just being around each other, that we on the phone, we ain't saying shit, you might be playing the game, I might actually be reading, but it's something about that connection that
Mhm.
is it's very intimate. it's
I
it's a
always
very intimate thing.
I always say the number one thing, one of the best ways to know how something's going to pan out for me,
Hmm.
how do you handle those moments of silence? Like, do
For
you
sure.
feel like you have to fill in the time or that silence with words, or can you be still and be comfortable and just be there? And if you can, that's important to me. Like, just because
For
there's
sure.
not always something to talk about. Forced conversation isn't cool, and sometimes it's just being there. I'm doing my thing, you doing your thing, or here we
Yeah.
are.
Because I be needing people to shut the fuck up.
Quickly, quickly and often. Um, I got a question for you, Rachel.
Yes.
You're dating someone. You're dating a man. Y'all getting serious.
Hmm.
Came out of nowhere. It's time to meet the parents, Rachel.
Yes.
Before you meet the parents,
I have a big lie.
the man you're dating has a big lie that he needs you to go ahead and roll along with. What did you think about this scene and Molly asking Frank? And both of them maybe having a point on what they're saying. Because you have Frank on one side saying, "You mean to tell me the first time you want me to meet your parents, you want me to lie to them about about how you're doing? Not to mention that's just fucked up that you're bringing me a part of this, and the fact that you're lying to begin with." And Molly's like, "Listen, my nigga, you don't know me. You don't know my life. You
Hmm.
don't know how much parents, children mean things to parents, but I'm their miracle baby.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the fake shit. I'm tired of them pretending to be happy, even though they ask me how I'm doing every 5 minutes. I hate that shit. I just want to have a chill night." And seeing Molly's point of view of from the fact of, I hate lying to my parents too. Like, this is not something I want to do, but I have to do it. And you an actor, my nigga. If I can do it, you can do it. What did you
Okay.
think about this whole scene and the ask of
Yeah, I,
Molly?
I hated it. I liked the scene,
Yeah.
but I hated the ask. Here's the
Mm-hmm.
thing, Molly, if you want to lie to your parents and tell them that you are in remission, do that on your own time. Don't let that be my initial meeting with your parents. Give me the heads up that this is the story, but you have already told that lie, because what I don't want to happen, even though Pops was cool in the end, what I don't want to happen is for it to come out and now I'm a fucking liar because you their daughter. You got a reason, but now I'm side-eyeing you as a parent. So the first time I meet you, the first time you put your feet under my table, you lying to me. That's fucked up. That's a
It
fucked up
says a
way
lot.
to meet her parents. Now, can it would have still been messed up if she would have told him before, and then he just had to go along with the story. But to have to deal with their genuine excitement
Mm-hmm.
fresh, genuine excitement versus them having already settled with that. It's less work you have to do. So now I have to put on, and he choked up a little bit. He couldn't finish the drink. He just it's not a good look. He wasn't adequately prepared. I mean, essentially he pulled it off, but I thought that was fucked up of Molly to ask. I understand her thought process. Howsoever, I don't like it. I would.
Is there anything when she says, I hate this, but I did it and I need you to do it too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just flat out. That's what it is. You with me and that's what I need you to do.
Yeah.
Like, is there this is what I expected of my partner, no questions asked. We ride. We ride together, we die together, bad boys for life. Like, is that something that you feel like she was even justified in saying or asking?
No, because I don't think y'all are there. Y'all are there yet.
Or having that expectation, I guess. So
to
she
have that
justified having that expectation
for me to just slide with whatever. We're not there yet. Like, yeah, we moving. Obviously, again, parallel to Harlem, you're gonna meet my parents. When I realize you're not crazy and this is kind of turning into something, but I don't think that they were there yet for such a big ask.
Would you have lied?
Yeah.
How much could you let that go? Is that a mental note? Is that a side eye? Is it just a side eye? You leaving it there, or is it a mental note like this is who you are? I gotta watch out for this.
It's a mental note. And if you lie to your mama and daddy about something as serious as cancer, what will you lie to me about? I'm gonna do it, but side eye.
I think the film did a good job of at least justifying why. Like, as much as we dislike it, in some way, it didn't turn me off of Molly. It didn't. I understood why she was doing it. As much as I hate it, now it does make me question. I guess in the same thing, we're saying the same thing. It does make me question: how far will you go to protect feelings? Yeah, and that's the tricky part about it, because you're not really protecting. You're protecting yourself.
That's it.
Because, like you said, you're tired. You want to see them happy, not that fake shit. But that's not going to be a good thing in the long run if something goes south. Or maybe it was that confidence her dad said later, like, Molly don't know how to lose. Maybe she knew, like, I'm just buying time with this.
Yeah, she was speaking it into existence.
Yeah, I suppose so, man. Dinner with the parents. So we transitioned to that. Pops knew right away she was not in remission. He looked over at Frank. Frank's fakes gave it away. She's not in remission. I really want to talk about Frank and Molly's dad having that talk. A lot of times when you see this is the guy dating my daughter, there's some intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Den of Thieves, Bad Boys 2, like just that whole trope.
For sure.
And this was real. Like, I respect you as a grown man. I know my daughter well enough to know that she wouldn't be having dinner with us if you weren't somebody that was important.
For sure.
So I'm going to give you that same grace and benefit that you must mean something. And we find that out a little bit later. Just two black men shooting their shit, just genuine talk. Frank is asking, like, how did y'all get into space? And I thought that was an incredible story. The way they told that story, Molly's dad, about Star Wars, and like, my roommate made me go, this is the second one, and I'm looking in the theater like, y'all motherfuckers weird.
Yeah.
And then Billy D. Williams come on the screen. And it's funny, side note, if you ever just want to just have a smile or a quick chuckle or laugh, ask a black person, ask your uncle, your auntie, your parents who were around in the 70s, ask them about Billy D. Williams. And just the legend of Billy D, the coolest person on the planet. And he just told that story about how I saw Billy D, and that changed everything. I went back and watched the first one, and I was hooked ever since, and I got into it. I couldn't wait to show Molly. She was into it, and then one day she came up to me and said, hey, there's nobody in there that looks at me. Looks like me. And he had that line, I had Billy D and my baby girl had nothing. And Frank said, so that's when y'all invented, Nova.
Nova.
And he kind of had that look like, she told you about that? Like that's sacred stuff.
Yeah.
Being included in something that's sacred,
Beautiful.
especially when you find out after the fact that it's sacred.
Mm-hmm.
Like for Frank, as far as Frank knew, that's general conversation.
Yeah.
Even though she was on the rooftop, I don't know you like that. Like, well, if you don't tell me, I'm gonna go into your client list and blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. So she ended up saying it, but you can tell by the dad's reaction, like, oh shit, you really must mean something.
Yeah.
And that's just a cool moment too that they shared. And I just love the fact that I love the fact that the dad knew he didn't grill him at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe he had an understanding. I know how my daughter is. I know she asked you not to say shit.
Not to
I can
say
tell by
it.
how uncomfortable you are.
But also, I think that there is a testament. So you said, does Frank have redeeming qualities? I think that this is one of them. Like, first off, my daughter MSR was worse sick and still treated her like a person, didn't kid gloves her, actually put quote unquote love into her life. You know what I'm saying? So as
Yeah,
a man, I'm gonna respect you because that's my
yeah,
daughter, like very clearly. And in me knowing my daughter and knowing what she is and ain't gonna deal with, there's an added level of trust or respect there just because I know she ain't gonna bring no food to my house. So let me see what you talking about. Let me just suss you out as a man, And I think that he just respected him.
yeah, yeah. That's real. And what point was I just about to make when it came to all of that? I can't remember. I just had a point I was gonna make about that whole scenario.
Oh.
Oh well, it'll come back to me. Oh, I just thought about something, and maybe not that scenario, but just in general about Frank. And maybe this is part of what you don't like about Frank, and what's, I guess, the easiest thing to point out about Frank, because you can't tell right away, but if you pay attention to his habits, it's something that Justin said when right before my next scene, which is the party, that
Mm-hmm.
Frank shows up too faded, and they get into their fight. They're watching the game, and Justin's asking about Molly, and he's saying something. He's like, "Man, I don't know how she deals with it so easily," and all of
Yeah.
that. And then Justin said something, and this is a very difficult type of person to continuously love. Like I don't want to say a battle because that's too strong, that's too extreme, but it is a task to put that effort of loving someone who has
Mm-hmm.
a difficult time dealing with things,
Yeah.
because you find yourself putting your energy into making sure they're okay, and you're looking at the things that they're struggling with, and it's like, man, just, you don't want to be insensitive and say, suck it up, this is life, like
Mm-hmm.
grab your nuts and let's go, because they don't deal with it like that. But it's also like, come on, bro, like you got to do your part too. You don't do well. Everybody deals with things better than you, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Frank toot his
Faded.
nose, toot his nose, shows up to this party, doorman tripping. Molly comes out with a, a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Frank doesn't like that. Goes to kiss her. First of all, you're way too old to be showing up to places like that.
Come on.
I do think that's a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
even me as someone who smokes,
Yeah.
I am a cannabis consumer.
Mm-hmm.
You won't really catch me smelling like it. Like
Yeah.
maybe a outdoor kickback or something like that. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying, if I'm going to the movie theaters or going to dinner, I'm not about to come in the theater smelling like that.
Smelling like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to invade anybody else's space and things like that.
For sure.
But yeah, do treat your nose, do what you need to do. But bruh, like, come on, like, what you doing?
Tighten
Like, this is
up.
a little mini party, and I think it's also a big sign how you react when you're mad to things. Like
For
Frank was
sure.
bugging. Frank was
For
talking to her
sure.
crazy. Molly lets him know he's way too old. Like I said, he guilts her, which
Mm-hmm.
is very manipulative.
Because you could have took an Uber home.
Task. Could have easily taken an Uber home. Actually, the only thing that I have as far as like things that bother me, tell that nigga to take an Uber home and call it a day. Go back
That's
inside
it.
because you want some bullshit. And if you decide to drive after that, you know better.
You. Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's very difficult to make sure that you have these people who don't deal with things well, that they're in the right mind. You have to take care of them and yourself at the same time. Why are you just gonna let me drive home fucked up? You
Lame.
really an asshole. Molly drives him, lets him know you are not coming inside. This is where you leave me. I want to walk you in. You can make sure I get in good from here, my nigga.
Period.
None of that is going on. And then we really get to the root of what's going on, which is you know how hard it is to be with somebody who's about to fucking die. Rachel.
Yes.
Is Frank in bounds for this conversation? Is this the
No.
moment to have it?
No.
Does he have anything to stand on when he tells her this is not just about you because I am now a part of this as too? Is this selfish? Is he thinking too much of his own feelings versus what Molly's actually going through? What are your thoughts on that?
My answer on its surface is no. I think it's a conversation about the toll being a caretaker and the partner of someone terminally ill can take. However, what the fuck does that have to do with right now? You showing up to this party fucked up.
Because, not to cut you off,
Mm-hmm.
because when he was talking to Justin, he mentioned, I don't know how she does it so well.
Mm-hmm.
Then they transitioned him taking I think he is trying to cope with everything and it's on his mind and he finally lets it out. I'm fucked up because I can't deal with the fact that you're about to die. And here we are.
No.
Not saying it's right or not. I'm just saying. I think that's his thinking right now.
No, I can take that, but what's the timeline? The conversation that Justin had, it wasn't right before the party. It wasn't walking into the party, was it?
Yeah, but it was a little bit before. He had the same clothes on. So I'm assuming he left that. I'm assuming he left Justin's and went to the party. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that would to go against Frank. Frank was doing that shit before he met Molly.
You was doing that shit before, during, and after. So don't use my sickness as a crutch for your habit, Mr. Runny Nose. I didn't like that at all.
Mr. Runny Nose is crazy. I think he does have a small point. I think that it at least needs to be acknowledged that he's dealing with it. I do see the whole, I do understand that you knew what you were getting into thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that it doesn't seem like they're having conversations about it, Molly is very defensive. It's almost like she doesn't want to acknowledge that she's sick, or she gets enough of it from her parents to where I don't want to deal with it with you. So yeah, it is an odd time, as you said. It's like a left field. It's like any argument you hear about some shit that happened way back or some feelings you've been holding on to for the months. Like, nigga, where'd that come from?
Now it's talking about time, and I can't talk to you fucked up like this because now you've pissed me off and embarrassed me. So now you need to know. Actually, I did fuck that nigga. Yep, I have.
Once again, that's I was about to say. Once again, Molly. One of the things I love about her, very direct, very petty when it comes to certain things. Now, justified. Frank's phone goes off. She had already seen. And there's nothing like finding something that you weren't looking for. She wasn't like she was digging through Frank's phone looking for some shit. His phone was just on the bed, and she just happened to look over and sees Candace, who we met at the party.
Yeah.
Message him a couple of hearts and things like that. So she tells him right on time. What do you mean right on time? All right, keep playing stupid, Frank. You do that shit so well. You heard me. Molly good for standing on business. Have you slept with anyone else? And he admits that he did, but he didn't even know if they were together. Molly hits Frank with the undefeated line. This line is 1,000,000. It is yet to be defeated. Anytime a woman tells a man, the guy you saw me with, I have fucked him.
Period.
That's it. That's the blow. Finish him. That's it. I don't care what's going on. I don't care how nonchalant that nigga is. You tell a nigga that, that nigga you saw me with earlier, oh, yeah, actually, I did fuck him. What? Frank got out that car so quick.
Die, man.
Molly once again. I don't know. We might not have been together. Using the same lines he gave her on that shit. And remember, I love this line. This is probably my favorite line of the scene. She said that she had fucked him. Frank says, what? She said, I don't think I stuttered, but if you want to hear it again, I fucked him.
Period.
That if you want to hear it again, Molly, stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, girl.
Shout out to Molly.
Nah, it's for real. What you trying to
do? Piss you off.
Yeah, what you trying to do, man? Don't do that. Don't play with me like that. He said, fuck you. I had somebody else do that for me tonight. Get the fuck off my steps. Period. All of that. Like, Molly, don't get into it with Molly. You're not gonna win that battle.
You're not gonna win.
Also, if we transition, one of my favorite scenes in this film was we see that Frank he wakes up and we find out he's at Justin's.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, love a good brotherhood, love a good friendship. Justin ain't tripping.
Mm-hmm.
He's annoyed.
Yeah.
But he knows Frank. I've always said it countless times. Your friends rarely surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
When you become their friends, you are accepting their flaws as well as the things that make them great. So you know they can get a little bit from time to time.
Yeah.
Probably not the first time that he's had to take care of Frank in this way. Tells him, "You lucky I ain't shoot your dumb ass." Knocking on my door at 2:30 in the morning in LA. I need to call Molly. Don't even worry about that. That's handled. Real niggas. Real niggas do real things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, you talk to her? She's pissed. But, it'll be good. She cares about you, bro. She cares about you. I'm going to go over there. Oh, she said give that a couple of days.
Yeah, don't.
A couple of days. Now I'm about to go over there. And he said some real shit to him. Real friends say real things when you need to hear it. Hey, man, listen. She could have told you fuck off.
Yeah.
I would take this couple of days as a victory.
For sure.
Like, you need to hear this right now, man. Chill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now. I talked to her. You didn't. I don't even know the full extent of what happened, but whatever it was, I know this woman. I know you well enough to know that this woman is special.
Yeah.
You probably never had anybody like her, and you need to go ahead and stick with it. Put food in front of him. Gave him the joint. Frank's selfish ass didn't say thank you. So Justin under his breath said thanks for breakfast. And just told him to lock up. Like just real friendship. Like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. It's not here for the credit. I'm not here for none of that. I just want to make sure you're good.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was a real cool thing for him to smooth things over with Molly. Gave the good advice, gave the good perspective, cleared things up, all that, and cooked. And then as we move on, Molly telling Frank that he needs to plan. Now, this is rough. Molly telling Frank that you need to plan for life after me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that girl we saw tonight, I like her. Like you can date her, or I see a tall woman for you.
Yeah.
That's fucking gut-wrenching, man.
To
be in love finally, especially imagine someone who hasn't experienced love like that. And you finally find it, and it's like, yo, this shit gonna get ripped away from me. And you're so cool with this idea, and like, I don't want to, and not only are you cool with it, you're telling me directly, like, if the roles were reversed, my nigga, I'm giving me an island, nigga.
Period.
Like, I'm living my life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand it because it is kind of selfish. Like, I'm one of those people where I want to celebrate life. I don't want to mourn death.
For sure.
And I understand where Molly comes through, but that scene in itself to me was gut-wrenching. Just because you have to really come to head with hard decisions. Telling him he needs to be happy, come to terms with it, live life and enjoy that shit. Don't be a sad, lonely man that gets a big beard. Gives him his present, which is a copy of Astronova. And then Rachel, I just have the last 16 minutes or so of the film.
Uh-huh.
I thought you were funny as fuck for one. You were hilarious. See, that's the thing. That's why when you know somebody, when you know someone, I know y'all out there listening and y'all like, what she say? What she say? I know what that means. Right? I know Rachel. That's my nigga, man. That's my dog. I know exactly. Hey, I swear on everything, man. I love you, man. I
love you.
Man. You were fucking funny as hell. I'm like, all right, then.
Molly dies, essentially. She is comatose in that bed, unshakable.
Which is crazy, because I thought it was really up. I thought it was over for Molly.
I thought she had gone to glory. I too.
And usually we get that kind of ending. Like we're used to the sad ending. So Molly goes, and the first part of this, for me, the last, I guess my best scene, or my last best scene, starts at the hospital with Frank and her dad outside.
Oh, we missed it. We missed the scene when Frank got beat up.
I didn't have that down for my best scenes.
Oh.
I'm anti-violence, you know.
Oh,
Nah, let me stop.
I enjoyed that because Frank.
You ain't. Hey, you. Like Kendrick said, you a sick man with sick thoughts.
I enjoyed that because it was so unnecessary. It was unwarranted violence, you know. But again, when you on that narcotic, you don't all the way be aware of your surroundings. So we see Frank is on the phone with Molly, and
he's on the phone
he's
with
on the phone
Candace.
with Candace.
Yeah, he's on the phone with Candace.
See, motherfuck, niggas, you a crack. Anyways, that's what the fuck you get. Karma. You don't cheat on somebody with cancer and think that you're just about to keep living. Nah.
Damn, Judge Mathis out here calling niggas crackheads, man. Shit.
I can see a little crack on you.
I can smell the crack when you came in.
Smell the crack on you. So he on the phone with homegirl, and a fan sees him and tries to get a pic, and he not going because he thinks that, you know, big britches. He's on his way to cheat. You know, he's on his way to an event. He got some shit to do.
He was telling her that he can't do it. He said he out the game right before he got punched. He said she was gonna send that nude, and he would have been like, "All right, man, here I come."
Exactly. He wasn't that disciplined in it all. So the fan is like, bruh, what the fuck? You ain't shit. Like, you see me, don't dismiss me. Again, you got
You're not that big of a star, my nigga.
You're not that big of a star. And I think that's what was blowing me. Like, okay, you recognizable, but you ain't fucking
household name.
Idris. You know, you
were that guy. You were that guy. I know you from that one thing.
I know you from somewhere. That's him. Yeah. Leo DiCaprio, pointed finger, you know, him. That's it. So nigga knocks him out at the car.
And really, it's not because I don't think he knocked him out because he didn't take the picture. It's how he acted to him.
It was how he did it. It was the disrespect.
Even though, like, I'm with you. Don't be coming up touching me after I tell you no. But once again, it's funny because School was just talking about this story on Little Man episode. Nick Young on Gilbert Arenas show talking about how people don't ask for autographs anymore. Like, they only ask for pictures. They rarely ask for autographs. And Gilbert Arenas like, nigga, that's because nobody know you. Nobody knows you since you dated Iggy Azalea. Nigga, they ask me for autographs all the time. My whole point is you better be grateful that you do have people that care about you, about your work. And I think there is something about handling those things with grace. Yes, I'm on the phone, and yes, but I'm not. I've always said that I never want to be famous. I want to be successful at what I do. I want to be successful in this space. We will be successful in this space. I'm going to continue to do so. However, I always got love for people. I just think there's certain times when you don't. Like, don't hit me up in the bathroom. Don't hit me up at dinner. Like, nigga, there's certain moments. But if I'm on the street and all I'm doing is walking with some flowers, sure, I got 10 seconds for you to say what up and go from there. If you're trying to chop it up for 30 minutes about a certain episode, I ain't got time for that. Show the people love.
For sure.
But did he deserve to get his shit rocked?
Yes.
In the parking lot?
Yes.
He got laid the fuck out and kicked. Bitch ass nigga. Hey, niggas don't show some respect.
You better play where it's safe.
Nigga, play. Go find something safe to play with. Don't play with me.
That
nigga came up and said, "Hey, rock this shit."
And who was at his bedside? None other than Molly, like a good ride or die does, despite me kind of being irritated with you even still.
And your slide is calling. I'm picking up the phone.
What did you think of her not saying shit about the slide calling?
I think she said it herself. I'm at a point where I don't want to spend time. I love where I'm at, who I'm with.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
Like you said, when shit happening, I believe you. Let's just keep it there. Because I don't have the luxury of knowing that 5 years from now, this is still gonna be a thing. I could easily be gone. So I don't want to give my energy towards it. And I think that's exactly what she was thinking.
Okay.
Even though it was very difficult. And once again, I guess my only thing, or one of the only other things that bothered me about the film is I want to see something where the black women don't do all the heavy lifting. You know what I mean? And I know that's like reality, and maybe that's the world of Nova, in the sci-fi world where that doesn't happen. And I get it's a real thing, and I do get that a lot. I've said it numerous times. The best people I know are Black women.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much love and power that you draw from Black women, but that's got to be exhausting to them. And I wonder what it looks like to see them,
Yeah,
even once again, to make a final crossover with We Got Y'all. Even when you do have a Quinn who meets a Seth who's doing all the right things, you still don't get 100%. You still have to share that.
for
It's
sure.
like, what the fuck is going on? I just want that to be played out.
Niggas are so communal.
Talk about, niggas is definitely communal, man. That's how it is. Even when you talk about movies like Love Jones and
Yeah.
just all of the, like, Nina's the one in the rain at the end. Like, Darius is underneath, dry. She's the one that's out here chasing and loving basketball. I said it before. Like, Q, like, if it wasn't for Monica, they never get married. Q was gonna go ahead and marry Tyra Banks and call it a day. Like, he wasn't gonna fight for that. So I do want to see one where I want to see a real solid "come see about me" moment.
For sure.
Whereas, I fucked up. I want to be good. Going back to this final scene.
Yeah.
Pops and Frank outside.
Love that.
Love that scene. First and foremost, they talk about his dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't know the man. I feel like I know him the more I get to know you. And
what a compliment.
That's very much a compliment. That's incredibly dope. I'm looking for the quote that he had. The doctor said she wasn't in remission, but you knew that though, didn't you, Frank? That makes two of us.
That makes two of us. Mm-hmm.
Once again, you can kind of tell if you look at that dinner scene, but I love the response after that. Frank said, "How'd you know?" Before he even finished the sentence. That's my
daughter.
She's my daughter, man. Mm-hmm. Like, he's kind of said it like, I'm annoyed that you even asked me how I knew my daughter. What are you talking about? How do I know? Like, she's my baby girl. I've been with her entire life. You just now meeting her. I know exactly who that woman is. Exactly who she is. And them just having that moment of Frank when he started talking about, the memories are starting to fade a little bit. Like, I see my dad's hands in my hands, and those are things I connect with. I have to listen to voicemails to kind of remember his voice. Mm-hmm. Just kind of that dealing with grief, mainly dealing with somebody who's dealt with grief and looking at it dead in the face again and saying, I cannot do this again.
Yeah.
Like, how do you deal with it, man? What do you mean how I deal with it? I tell my wife I'm going to the garage, I work on my car, like I always do, and I sit there and I cry. Mm-hmm. Let that shit out. Feel what you feel. I love that he did reassure Frank. He told that story that we mentioned. Like, the teacher spelled my name wrong. It's M-A-L-I, not M-O-L-L-Y.
Period.
Like, even at 5 years old, don't even know where she got her name, but she knew that the teacher spelled it wrong. Like,
that's it.
Day one, she knew she wasn't having it. She was not having it. That resonates with Molly throughout the entire film. And he said it. Molly don't know how to lose.
Period.
That even goes to something at the end of the film when we find out that Molly's okay.
Yeah.
But one day I'm gonna figure out how you make everything look so easy. Like, she just got it. Like, it feels she's one of those people. If she puts her mind to something, it's just getting done.
Yeah.
But I thought one of the sweetest things that happened in this film is Frank setting up the cosplay event for the Nova and getting her out of bed and just having the crew and like just being there and being childlike joy. Like, let's just let loose and not overthink this adult shit, and let's just be there. Her parents are there, extremely thoughtful, take her mind off things. And then we get to the pump fake, which I kind of felt it was coming when I watched it the first time. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, they really about to hit us with the funeral. And I'm like, man, I guarantee this is a scene. Yeah. And it was a scene. And then you find out that the show is successful. Frank is now successful. And of course, Molly is still with him. Yeah. And they still have this loving, playful relationship. And they've been through the trenches and back out. And it's just a perfect way to kind of wrap it up and kind of see that. I think that's one of the biggest things also about this film for me, that we got that happy ending.
Yeah. And it wasn't Frank finally having a car.
Frank finally, no, he had that car, that Benz. He had that black Benz.
Oh.
He drove that throughout the film. Oh. Like an old school joint.
Okay.
Just remember when she drove his car when she took him back to that
she took him back home. Got it.
Yeah, that's why she said you can leave. You can stay. Yeah. But I just thought that was pretty dope, man. The way it ended up, us getting a happy ending. The biggest thing that he's learned from his girl in the interview, and then of course it cuts to the she taught love. Like, she did teach him how to love. Yeah. Once again, I can understand if you're tired of the black woman save everybody trope, but it is a real thing. And I thought it was an incredible story. And I definitely don't think Frank deserved it. Deserve might not be the right word, but He definitely lucked up, and thankfully he didn't fumble it too much.
For
And there
sure.
wasn't like that extra cheating scene of him doing some dumb shit where it wouldn't have been justified. But he definitely outkicked his coverage, and
For sure.
I don't see what she saw, but she saw it, and he made sure he didn't fumble it.
Bless that.
Bless that. You're hilarious. You're hilarious.
Bless that. Bless that.
I'm assuming you don't have any best quotes.
No.
All right, I do have some best quotes. I have actually a nice little amount of them.
Okay. You love this movie. Go ahead.
I do love this. I love this movie. The opening quote, like not the quote in the film, but the quote on the screen. I forget who actually said it. I should have wrote that down or written that down. If nothing saves us from death, may love at least save us from life. I thought that was a bar. The NBA player talking to Molly in the office. That's why you my nigga. That's why you my nigga. You smell like Nick Nolte's beard. I'll get you an autograph next time I see Uncle Denny. That's after Frank told old girl that Denzel's his cousin. This is one that I thought you would have had down, but it's Beyonce.
Fair.
Yeah,
well, we didn't talk about that. Is a good scene. We'll do anything for a concert. Go ahead.
And I love how you said it to him. You like to watch your teams, don't you?
Hello.
Fair point. One of my favorite quotes, because it's some fried shit. I don't know if he liked red or white, so I got him some tequila. There's only one you, Frank. Hey, this is Frank and Justin. I don't know why this is so funny to me. Justin was hilarious to me. But that moment we talked to right before he went to the party and had that fight with Molly, Frank looks around and starts seeing people and then leans over to Justin like, hey, who are all these people? Justin, why are you whispering? Stay out my shit, bro. I don't ask you what you do. That's the friendship shit. Like, nigga, what you whispering for? And stay out my business, bro. Watch the game and shut up.
That's it.
We already talked about the doctor said she wasn't in remission, but you knew that. And then lastly, Molly's dad in that same scene said, some lies are worth it.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree, but it'd be like that sometimes. Did you have a scene stealer?
Justin.
Same. Alexander Hodge is Justin. Tell John Wick he can get it whenever. Just all types of shit. All of that seemed like real. We all have that friend that's just like, bro, chill. I can't even take you this shit no more.
Yeah.
You out here wild. You want to fight Keanu Reeves, the most peaceful man on the earth.
Silly.
But yeah, classic best friends. We got keys to each other's crib. Your mama know I'm over here without even knowing. Like we just that close, that tight knit. Those type of relationships are very, very, very rare. You can have really good friends, but just that tight. Like this is the last person that will ever betray me or do some foul. Always looking out the whole thing. Things that bother you besides the movie?
The movie. Honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. Frank and that Coke was really fucking with me. The director or the one casting agent, shout out to him for really sticking his neck out for him while he was in there runny nosed, because anybody else, that probably would have been a chop. So
easily been a chop. Shout out to him. I don't even know what Frank did. Frank must be a hell of an actor. Because bruh, we ain't about to do all this.
Yeah. So I mean that's it. It just didn't curl for me. So
understood. Any actors from The Wire? Absolutely. I mentioned it earlier. You have the writer and star Daryl Britt Gibson, who plays Frank Cooper. He was O-Dog in The Wire. Greatest show of all time. I would say something, but it's a spoiler. Even though The Wire has been off of air for 27 years now, but it is what it is. Soundtrack. No, excuse me. We don't. Whatever. Wouldn't let that happen. Wouldn't let that happen to me. Moment. Anything?
Not really. What can I do about having cancer? When I say I'm not going to take a cheated man back. Done it. So no, not for real.
Not much trivia. Like I said, not a ton of information. So we'll go ahead and end this episode here with our rating system. Okay. Now, I did tell you I was shocked. And you might be more in line. This might make sense to you, but I was shocked when I saw this rating. So the average viewer rates She Taught Love.
4.6.
5.2. You thought 4.6 is crazy. So they rated a 5.2 out of 10. Well, damn, Rachel, it sounds like it might be too high.
I'm giving it a 5.2.
Nah, fuck it.
I'm gonna give it a 5. A 5 is what's in my heart.
I'm giving it a 7.4. I fuck with this movie, man.
You love this movie.
I love this movie.
When Kieron first told me about this, I was so geeked to watch it. I was like, ooh, what is this gonna be? Let me see. Let me go on Do Not Disturb to watch this new love story I ain't never seen.
I ain't never tell you about a movie ever again.
Surprise.
Oh, shit. Ray P, is this getting a rose, a bouquet, or the whole damn garden?
I'm going to give it a rose.
I just love the way I'm going to give it a rose.
I'm going to give you the rose and E for effort.
I'm going to give it a bouquet.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a bouquet. It doesn't get the whole damn garden, but it does get a bouquet. It is something that I will watch again, over and over. I love this film. I do enjoy it. I can understand getting a fatigue from watching it. But yeah, let me ask you this.
A hate watch? No.
No. She Taught Love or Really Love?
Oh, Really Love. What the fuck? Very easily. I can watch Really Love right now.
Is that because
Kofi's not because of Kofi, just because I preferred the story.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right, Rachel. Well. Now, as always, these are some of my favorite conversations. I love the fact that I mentioned this to you and we have not talked about it until today. So I had no idea. Yeah. She didn't watch it. Rachel didn't watch it and then send me a text saying, "Nigga, what is this?" I'm finding out. I found out this morning when she told me. I ain't got a lot of notes. Anytime Rachel hits me with that, I ain't got a lot of notes. I already know what time it is. Once again, I know her like the back of my hand. But that's what we're here for. So
for sure.
We're excited. But once again, to kick off Romance Month, we got 3 more left, as well as potentially a Black Reel Awards. If they continue with their dates of February 10th, we'll be having something out that week to cover our thoughts on it. But until then, we'll be back next week for one of Rachel's choices.
Hey.
I know all her movies, so I can't dog none of them because I like them. I was hoping she'd pick one that I can, but she's done that. Jump in the Broom. I think that's the one that I
that's the one you hated.
It's not that nigga Laz and Lonzo's character just didn't do it for me. Yeah. Either way, thank you as always for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be back next week. Do not forget to check out We Got Y'all.
Sure.
Covering Harlem. One more episode from us covering the last 2 episodes of the entire series. That'll be coming out next week. Until then, y'all be cool. Y'all be cool.
Peace out. Oh, well, peace to you. Shout out to all of us. Bye.
Peace.